Makasamahan po natin sa gobyerno, samahan sa local government units, members of the indigenous peoples, members of the media, members of the civil society, isang makalikasang magandang taon sa inyo lahat. I believe the events today are considered historic. Historic in the sense that the document we signed this morning will actually go to the World Bank and the United Nations. It will become a sample or a model of payment for ecosystem services. Pupuntahin po yan ng ibang bansa. Dalawang importanteng bagay ho para sa araw na ito. One is the PAS, and the other one is the program that we will launch with the DILG, and this is the Barangay Forest Program under the National Greening Program to be supervised by Secretary Lu. Bakit po napaka-importante nitong dalawang ito? Because sa United Nations, recognized na ang payment for ecosystem services, which most of us, even in the Philippines, consider to be free. Alam mo dati, alam natin ang tubig halos libre. Even sa Manila ho, lahat kami. The Maynila, in the Manila water, they don't collect the fund for services that will go back to the watershed. Wala, maski siguro sa ibang lugar, hindi rin nangungulekta except itong proposal sa San Carlos. But it is not free. We must pay for it. The air that we breathe, the ecosystem we live on, the water, the land rather that we live on, the beauty that we enjoy must be paid. Alam niyo mo, 2 days ago, the President keynoted the International Conference on Tourism and Climate Change sa Legazpi. We were there 2 days ago. Ito ho'y pinag-uusapan natin. Ang sinasabi ho nila, the number one payer of ecosystem services is actually tourism. Tourism. That is the reason why we believe in Mindanao. That is the reason why the President is trying very hard to bring peace in Mindanao. Mainly because if there is really peace in Mindanao, we can bring in quadruple or increase tenfold the tourism in Mindanao. And that will become the major generator of income of the island of Mindanao. The report of WTO the other day, the Secretary General of the WTO was there. He reported that last year alone, 1.8 billion people crossed borders last year. Almost 1/4 of the people of the world was tourists last year, and this is still increasing. That's why we now consider tourism as the victor of climate change or environment. But equally, it is also the vector or victim of climate change. Why? Because victor in the sense that it is generating too much income for the environment. As we said, 1.8 billion people paid for their vacation last year. It is also a vector because if they do not behave well, if a tourist does not behave well, and his malpractice is multiplied 1.8 million times, it's a disaster to environment, di ba? Kung isang turista ay nagtapon ng basura sa gubat, i-multiply mo ng 1.8 billion times, it becomes a vector for disaster sa environment natin. Isa siyang paninira o makakasira sa ating kalikasan sa environment. It is also a victim, tourism is also a victim of environment and climate change. Why? Tourism is very much dependent on climate and weather. Meron bang turista kung bumabagyo? Wala. Meron bang turista kung sa 10 degrees below freezing point? Meron, pero seldom. So, it is also a victim of climate change. But the potential as a payer for ecosystem services is there. It has the biggest potential. That is the reason why I said What we did this morning is historic. Second, the other program that we are going to sign this afternoon, later on with Secretary Ma, is the Barangay Forest Program. Alam niyo po ba ang potential nitong programang ito? 42,000 barangays, we are asking them to produce 10,000 seedlings per barangay. Alam niyo kung anong ilang kayang tam na nila? Almost 900,000 hectares in just 1 year. You can just imagine if bawat isa sa atin, bawat isang barangay ay tutulong palaguin ang kagubatan natin. I'm going to tell you the potential of this program of President Aquino, the National Greening Program. By the way, when he signed the NGP, Executive Order number 23, it says there that it is not only an environmental program, but it is basically a poverty reduction program and a food security program. Why? Because the intention really of NGP is to reduce poverty and increase the level of living in the uplands. Because uplanders, tayo, mga katutubo, still consider the poorest of the poor all over the country. So, ang objective po ni Pinoy ay palaguin ng kagubatan para kumita. Alam niyo ba, in the Philippines alone, we have 8 million hectares of open, denuded, and degraded areas. Ito po yung mga kalbong kagubatan. You can consider it as a disadvantage, but you can also take it as a big opportunity. You know, Indonesia has only around 7.2 million hectares of plantation. They have the biggest plantation now of palm oil, rubber, so timber, pang construction, of course orchard, and several other species. But they are now reporting, according to Indonesia, they are now generating to the total of $50 billion per year. Total income from plantation. $50 billion. Alam niyo ba yung $50 billion? That is almost equal to the budget of the Republic of the Philippines. Meaning the plantation alone of Indonesia can finance the government of the Philippines. Plantation alone. And they only have 7.2. We have 8 million hectares of open, denuded, and degraded areas. If we can make this earn, I reported this to the cabinet, that if we can only make these lands earn to the tune of 100,000 pesos per hectare per year. Banana is reporting 250. Coffee is around 125. Cacao is 150,000 per hectare per year. I said, just put it at 100,000 pesos per hectare per year. Alam niyo kung magkano yun? If we cover the entire 8 million hectares, that is a whooping 800 billion pesos per year. That means this country, we are losing 800 billion pesos as we speak. Why? Because we are not developing our land. Anywhere in the world, land is the biggest capital. Even if you go to Economics 101, the teacher will tell you that land is the biggest capital. And we have 8 million hectares of that. But we're not developing it. So we're losing 800 billion as we speak every year. See, that is the beauty of this program that Secretary Lu and Secretary Mar will join us to enforce in the next few months. So, as I said, we must make our lands productive. Sabi nga po sa ibang probinsya, sabi ng ibang gobernador, bawal ang tamad sa amin. Sabi ko, magtanim tayo. Talagang walang tamad yan. This is the only endeavor. By the way, ang computation namin, where can you find an investment that your 20 pesos, if you buy a seedling and plant it and tend it, your 20 pesos will become 2,000 pesos in 10 years. Alam niyo po kung magkano yun? That is 1,000% a year. Di po ba? Bumili ka ng isang seedling, itanim mo. Bintay ka ng 10 taon, the price of timber in Butuan, even here in Cagayan de Oro, is 2,000 pesos per log. Isang troso. 2,000. In Kibutuan, if you use it for plywood, it's 4,500. But let us not price it at 4,500. Just make it 2,000. So your 20 pesos, you plant it now, wait for 10 years, and your capital is only rainfall and sunshine, then you will have 2,000 pesos in 10 years. Tell me what investment can compare with that. Even if you put your 20 pesos in the bank, it will not even be 200 pesos in 10 years. But this one, your 20 pesos, instead of putting it in the bank, put it in the mountain, it will become 2,000 pesos after 1 year. Not to mention the environmental benefits. Meaning, it will solve flooding, it will give you clean air, it will give you quality water. So, tell me what investment can compare with that. So again, ladies and gentlemen, don't have any second thoughts anymore. Join us in our National Training Program. Join Secretary Mar, join Lou in the Barangay Forest Program. Magandang baga po sa inyo.